Welcome to our mini lecture on familial and developmental factors. This mini lecture is meant to be watched prior to our 6th class together. The purpose of this lecture is to discuss attachment style. Now, a little disclaimer here, because of the nature of this content, we're going to be using a standard model and some really specific verbiage. So this mini lecture is a little bit dense and based solely on the textbook. So feel free to take screenshots, turn off the video, just listen to the audio, or just come back to it later when you need a refresher. So we're going to be talking about the 4 categories of attachment, and these are measured on a spectrum of anxious attachment to avoidant attachment. With anxious attachment, we're working with a concern about the availability and willingness of another to respond to us. With avoidant attachment, this refers to a continuum of comfort or discomfort with intimacy, emotional needs, and commitment. So with secure attachment, we see low anxiety, low avoidance. These folks tend to comfortably seek help from others. With dismissive attachment, these folks don't tend to express their anxiety around needing others, though it may cause some distress. They tend to avoid feelings and tend not to seek support. With preoccupied attachment, we'll see high anxiety around seeking support. They'll seek support, but have anxiety around the attachment figure remaining interested and responsive. And when we talk about attachment figure, we're talking about therapists. With fearful attachment, you'll see high anxiety, and these folks will be avoidant. There's a real fear of vulnerability, and approaching others may evoke unwanted feelings and memories. So often a trauma history here. With secure attachment, these clients had a safe haven and secure base as children. They tend to present with a solid sense of self, able to discuss their relationships easily, show empathy, and they're able to speak to their childhood experiences realistically, talk about both positive and negative experiences. So we see that these clients, their attachment needs were met in a way that allows for autonomy. In therapy, these clients tend to be less conflicted about seeking help and working through possible therapeutic ruptures if they occur. So you may hear these clients say things like, I know she'll be there for me, I can trust him, I like that we feel close, things like that. With dismissive attachment, these clients aren't as aware of their feelings. They'll tend to divert attention away from memories of disappointing or hurtful experiences. They may minimize their anxiety or distress. They tend to show less empathy, sensitivity, and nurturance towards others, and they're really fearful of intimacy. Often, these folks will present their childhood as fine, it was good, but it's really important as therapists to pay attention to the specifics of how caregivers responded to these clients, because often there was a painful experience around this response, and that's going to be an entry point for us to expand and hear more. These clients tend not to trust others because they've been taught through their experiences that they shouldn't. Their presentation is self-sufficient and really independent. Our goals with the dismissive attachment style is to provide that corrective emotional experience by repeatedly facilitating the experiences these clients missed as children. And this validation and attunement expands their interpersonal understandings. So we want to help clients see when they're being dismissive towards themselves and others, and then together collaboratively practice new ways of being that they carry out into the world. Preoccupied attachment. Typically, this presents with exaggerated emotional needs. These clients may be insecure about the availability or responsiveness of relationships, which of course carries into the therapeutic relationship. These clients can appear needy and dramatic. They're often wrapped up in preoccupations about others in their relationships, so there's no room for themselves. They are often rambling and hard to contain in session. And this stems from inconsistent or unpredictable caregivers. sometimes loving, sometimes not, hard to know for a kid. And so these children maximize their emotions in an attempt to be seen. They're often parentified and enmeshed with their caregivers. And in session, they're often engaging, charismatic, intense. And this is their attempt to feel close to us. This is the way they know how to do it, how to build that kind of rapport. Our goals with preoccupied clients are to provide a secure base, that responsiveness, and also to help them develop their own voice, to differentiate from enmeshment from those caregivers, and also to learn how to create boundaries. We do this through modeling and role playing. Our ultimate goal here is to gradually challenge these clients towards increasing interpersonal distance and autonomy, so to help them find themselves. With fearful attachment, these clients often struggle with serious psychopathology. And of course, we know that that often stems from a trauma history. And so with these clients, we'll see caregivers who may have been both a source of security or help and a threatening source of danger. In treatment, these clients will be deeply afraid of rejection. They'll avoid close involvement. They have a real distrust of others. This can make treatment difficult and long. It can also be really challenging for the therapist. So when we're talking about familial and developmental factors, we also need to talk about parenting styles. Parenting styles, that's how we get to these attachment styles. I find that talking about parenting styles with this model here, we see another quadrant here: permissive, authoritative, authoritarian, and disengaged parenting. I find that it's easier for therapists, including beginning therapists, to really intuit how these 4 parenting styles lead to certain attachment styles, behaviors, patterns of our clients. So I don't want to read PowerPoint slides and talk at you about this. I just want to arm you with the information so that if you'd like more details, or later on, if you want to come back and read it, you'll find all the details, page 200 in our text. So some closing thoughts. This material can be triggering, can be really activating for us as we are revisiting our family of origin and starting to think critically. It can really challenge cultural norms and can bring about pain and guilt. So be gentle with yourself. And it's important for us to acknowledge that that's good data for us, because as we're examining these things and feeling the discomfort around that, we're getting a better understanding of what it's like for our clients when we ask them to start to examine their history in this way. So these labels around attachment style and parenting styles, just like diagnoses, can be helpful, can help us conceptualize things. They can also be limiting. So it's not helpful to blame caregivers. We want to remain curious. And this is about context and understanding cases. This is not about blaming and accusing caregivers of wrongdoing. It's not our goal to reparent. In fact, we can't reparent. That's just not possible. It is our goal to create that safe haven and secure base that our clients may have missed. And by safe haven and secure base, we're thinking of the roots to ground and the wings to let our clients be autonomous. So for some further exploration, I'm sure you're already thinking about your attachment style and your caregivers. I would encourage you to imagine how this may challenge you clinically. It's important for us as we enter into working with our clients on this stuff that we have a good understanding of who we are, that will allow us to authentically enter into these conversations. As always, if anything needs to be clarified, please let me know. I look forward to seeing you in class. Thanks for watching.